Miranda Barbour, a name that sent shivers down the spine of America, isn't your typical criminal. Her story, a chilling blend of horror and intrigue, paints her as a self-proclaimed serial killer with an insatiable thirst for blood. Dubbed the real-life Dexter, Miranda's claims of murder have left both law enforcement and the public questioning the line between truth and delusion. Let's dive into the twisted tale of Miranda Barbour, a woman who, by her own admission, has a body count that rivals some of history's most notorious serial killers. A satanic start, the birth of a killer. Miranda Barbour's journey into darkness allegedly began at the tender age of 12 when she claims she joined a satanic cult. By 13, she had reportedly committed her first murder, a man who had crossed her cult leader. The claim itself is as shocking as it is questionable, but Miranda's story only gets darker from here. She has described her life as one plagued by demonic influences and a sinister alter ego, Super Miranda, who she says took pleasure in her heinous acts. Her childhood, which should have been filled with innocence, was instead a series of traumatic experiences that led her to drugs and a life of crime. The cult, as Miranda tells it, was not just a place of worship, but a breeding ground for violence, manipulation, and death. Despite these allegations, law enforcement remains unconvinced, unable to find evidence to support her claims. But Miranda's story taps into a deep-seated fear of the unknown, where the line between reality and the supernatural becomes dangerously blurred. A marriage made in hell, Miranda and Elite. Miranda married Elite Barbour, a man who shared her morbid fascination with murder. The couple's honeymoon phase was anything but typical. They bonded over their shared desire to kill. Just 3 weeks after their wedding, the Barbours set their murderous plan into motion. They lured Troy LaFerrara, a 42-year-old engineer, through a Craigslist ad offering companionship for men disillusioned with their marriages. What LaFerrara didn't know was that he was stepping into a death trap. Their marriage, far from the picture-perfect union many hoped for, was instead a partnership forged in bloodlust. The couple's dynamic was eerily with a much darker twist. Unlike their infamous predecessors, the Barbours' motivation wasn't money or rebellion. It was the pure, unadulterated thrill of taking a life. The Craigslist killing, a crime of thrill. The murder of Troy LaFerrara was brutal and calculated. As LaFerrara sat in the front seat of Miranda's car, Elite, hidden in the back, wrapped a cord around his neck. Miranda then stabbed him 20 times, all while he gasped for air. The couple later celebrated their kill with a visit to a strip club, a macabre birthday celebration for Elite. They tried to cover their tracks, but their plan unraveled quickly when police traced the last call on LaFerrara's phone to Miranda. This gruesome act wasn't just a spontaneous decision. It was meticulously planned. The Barbours had attempted to lure other victims before LaFerrara, but he was the unfortunate one that Miranda's statements were a way to gain notoriety or to appear mentally unstable to avoid harsher punishment. The concept of a self-styled vigilant killer resonates with the public, invoking both fear and fascination. But without concrete evidence, her claims remain just that, claims. Whether these stories are the ramblings of a deeply troubled mind or the confessions of a true serial killer remains one of the most perplexing aspects of her case. The skepticism of law enforcement. Law enforcement agencies across the states where Miranda claimed to have committed murders have expressed doubts about her story. In Alaska, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and beyond, investigators have combed through records and cold cases. But so far, they've come up empty-handed. Lack of evidence, the investigations have not entirely ceased. Miranda's case has become a point of study for criminologists and psychologists who examine the motivations behind such claims. The possibility of uncovering hidden crimes keeps the case alive, but the longer it goes without verification, the more it seems likely that Miranda's tales are exaggerated or entirely fabricated. Yet, the mere possibility that there could be truth in her words keeps the public and authorities on edge. A life behind bars, the aftermath. Miranda and Elite Barbour were both sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in 2014. While behind bars, Miranda has continued to insist on her role as a killer of many. But these assertions have done little to change her fate. The question of whether Miranda is a true serial killer or simply a pathological liar remains unanswered, and she continues to serve her sentence at the State Correctional Institution in Muncie, Pennsylvania. Her life in prison is marked by the same eerie calm that characterized her interviews, where she spoke of her crimes without a trace of remorse. For some, her continued assertions of guilt are a desperate cry for attention. For others, they may be the last gasps of a mind trying to hold profile, monster, or myth. What drives someone to claim they committed over 20 murders? For Miranda, it could be a combination of psychological trauma, a desire for notoriety, or even a strategic ploy to appear insane and avoid the death penalty. Some experts suggest that Miranda's claims are a way to cope with her past abuses and drug addiction. Others believe she may be trying to create a myth around herself, similar to how other infamous killers have sought to build their dark legacies. The fascination with creating a persona, whether it's the terrifying Super Miranda or the cold, calculating murderer, might be Miranda's way of controlling her narrative in a life where she's had little control. Her story, true or not, offers a window into the complex interplay between trauma, mental health, and crime. Whether a monstrous killer or a tragic figure caught in her own lies, Miranda's psychological profile remains a topic of intense study and debate. Media sensation, the making of a modern monster. The media quickly latched onto Miranda's story, drawing parallels to fictional killers like Dexter Morgan. The idea of a female serial killer, especially one who claimed to kill for moral reasons, captivated the public. Shows like Deadly Women featured her story, and articles flooded the internet, each trying to unravel the mystery of Miranda Barbour. But in the end, it's hard to separate fact from fiction when it comes to her life and crimes. The sensationalism surrounding her case speaks to our collective fascination with the macabre, where the boundaries between reality and entertainment are often blurred. Miranda's case became a media circus, with headlines screaming of her alleged body count, and her to the mind of a possible serial killer left you wanting more, or just left you wanting to check under your bed. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Keep it spooky, folks.